you see when you drive around Colorado close to an election day. Very good. One of the cooler things you see as you drive around Colorado close to an election day is something that I saw earlier today when I was walking around Denver. Look, that right there on your screen is a polling place in the middle of the road. White tent with red box, people wearing ear warmers. That is a place where you can drop off your ballot after you have filled it out. You drive up or ride up on your bike, as I saw one guy do. You hand your ballot over one of these elections officials stationed inside the tent.
What we do is they give us the ballot, we give them the sticker and ask them to wear it.
Me, I voted.
Yeah, and then we put it in the box, and they pick the box up whenever it's full, and they take it inside and process it and everything.
So this is not a thing that you can do all over the country, but in Colorado, this is a thing. Drive-up voting. Colorado now has a mail-based voting system where every registered voter in the state gets mailed a ballot. You can fill it out at home. You can either then mail it back or you can drop it off at one of these very, very handy-dandy locations. That new voting system, where again, the state mails you a ballot that you can then drop off somewhere, that has turned into this on the Fox News channel.
Breaking tonight, with 2 weeks to the midterms, we are getting warnings that a new law has opened the door to possible voter fraud in a critical Senate race that could decide the balance of power in Congress. It was roughly 16 months ago when the Democratic governor of Colorado signed a first-of-its-kind new election law, a set of rules that literally allows residents to print ballots from their home computers, then encourages them to turn ballots over to collectors in what appears to be an effort to do away with traditional polling places. What could go wrong?
Not even a little bit true. Not at all. That was a report on the Fox News channel last week, which suggested that Colorado residents all can print their ballots on their home computers and then hand them over to mysterious collectors. So, you know, fraud, Democratic plot to steal the election. Colorado voters cannot all print their ballots on their home computers. Members of the military and overseas voters can do that, but they've always been able to do that. That's not a new law at all, and it's never been controversial before Fox News decided to make it controversial. The local press here has gone to pretty great lengths in the last few days to try to clean up the mess that Fox News has left behind with their unfortunate viewers here. But it has really led to some confusion on the ground here about how you can and cannot vote.
It was incorrectly reported that you can print your ballot off your own home computer. So people had visions of liberals going to Office Depot and buying up all the ink cartridges and printing out, millions of these ballots, and that's not true. If you're overseas in military, which was before the new law.
So, as you heard Lynn from the Denver Post say there, if you are an overseas voter or member of the U.S. military, you can print your own ballot. Otherwise, the state mails you a ballot, you fill it out, and you can either mail it back, or if you don't like the idea of putting your ballot in the mail, you can drop your ballot off at one of these handy locations. Not that complicated. Thankfully, last night, the Fox News channel did sort of correct their error on the air.
Last week, we said the new law also allows all voters to print out their ballots at home. That actually is not the case. Members of the military and some others, like Coloradans overseas, can indeed print out their ballots at home, but this was the case even before the new law passed.
Excellent, right? No, it's good. They're correcting it. It's good. End of story, right? That should be... No. Had that just been it, like, oh, we got a thing wrong, we'll be right back. That'd be, no. Because now Fox News has figured out another way to scaremonger about this idea of people voting in Colorado. Please watch this. I promise you, we did not make this up. I promise.
There are some Coloradans who prefer not to get a ballot mailed to them because there might be someone in the household, a union boss, an employer, who intimidates them once they get that ballot. So the boss knows when the ballot's going to show up. The union boss knows when the ballot's going to show up. And they can try to come over and obtain that ballot from you and turn it in for you.
See, mail-in voting Voting is bad for Colorado because union bosses or Kenyans or whatever might figure out when your ballot is going to arrive at your house, and they'll come over and steal your ballot from you, and they'll fill it out with the candidate of their choice and thereby steal the election. Whoa. This is completely insane. But that is the concern being peddled very seriously right now in the Fox News corner of the world. A week before the election, their idea is that union bosses are sneaking into people's homes in Colorado day and night, filling out their ballots in secret union boss ways. Do you have evidence that they're not doing it? If Fox News did not exist, we would have to make them up. It's part of a liberal plot to steal the election with the new Black Panther Party. The union boss knows when the ballots. It's amazing. Fox News Channel is so amazing. But you should know that's what's happening on the Fox News Channel, because that is what your crazy conservative uncle now thinks about voting in Colorado this year. That's why he's worried. Ta-da.